Hi guys, welcome. And in today's session, from now onwards, actually, so I want to help the students who are preparing for NEET, so that I'm going to discuss some important models, important questions, right? Important questions in the sense, generally these are the type of questions which will be asked in NEET exam uh, throughout the previous year's papers that if you go through. So this kind of models came, right? So that's why some of the questions I have collected, and those questions we are going to discuss in these sessions. So every now and then, that means regularly, I am going to discuss these kind of questions from organic chemistry as well as remaining inorganic and physical. Also, we are going to discuss a few questions like this. Okay, in the coming few days, we'll be doing all those things, right? So I hope all of you, it will help you in your preparations for NEET. And from my side, one small request is please subscribe, share, and like the channel so that I'll get motivated and I'll do a lot of these kind of things to help you out, help you people in your preparations, right? Thank you. So let us go with the questions right now. So I have collected some of the questions from previous year's papers, and I have added some more additional questions also, so that it will be very helpful in your preparations and in answering the questions. From organic chemistry, we are starting with. So later on, physical and inorganic also will be doing it, right? So let us start with the first question now. The first question is, which of the following would give iodoform test? So iodoform test and the questions related to iodoform test are very important. So generally they are asking the questions from this, right? So coming to iodoform test, there are compounds which have methyl keto group and which are having CH3CHOH, that group. So they'll give you iodoform test. Otherwise, if they don't have any of these two, either methyl keto not there, or you don't have CH3CHOH. So it must compound must contain methyl keto group, this one, and CH3CHOH, either this. So any one of this must be there to get the iodoform. So if you don't have this, iodoform test will come. So let us check out. In the first case, first option, ethylene glycol they have given, so that won't be having any of these two. So that is not giving iodoform test. And even when it comes to B, in B option also we don't have CH3CHOH. CH3COH is there, but it won't give. CH3CHOH must be there. So second option also won't give. And in third option also we don't have that. So in fourth option, we have it. Okay. So in the fourth option, we have that. So definitely the answer will be D. Okay. Because it is having that CH3CHOH group. Right. So here the answer is D. Why? Because the compound has that CH3CHOH. Okay. So that is the first question. Next question. So here is the next question. Aspirin is an example of. So aspirin is an ester. So, but which type of ester is asked? A hydroxy ester, keto ester, aromatic acid ester, or phenolic compound. So what is this? So aspirin, general chemically, if you see that aspirin is a commercial name. Chemically, if you see, we call it as acetyl salicylic acid. So that means in salicylic acid, we are doing that acetylation. Okay, acetyl group we are attaching to the salicylic acid part. So where does that acetyl group will attach means on OH. Okay, In OH, hydrogen will be replaced by acetyl group. Acetyl group means AS3CO. Okay, so that will give you acetyl salicylic acid. So salicylic acid is an organic carboxylic acid. Okay, it is a aromatic carboxylic acid, right? So aromatic carboxylic acid and its ester. So that's why aromatic acid ester we can say, right? So option C will be our answer. And the structure of aspirin is this. So if you take out this is acetyl group. So their hydrogen was there, that is salicylic acid, if it is there. So that hydrogen we replaced with acetyl group. So that's why it is called acetyl salicylic acid. So which is also known as aspirin commercial, right? So that is the second question. So now we'll go to the next one. Let us go to the third one. So here is the third one. An unknown compound dissolves in sulfuric acid but does not decolorize bromine water and does not react with sodium. So which of the following classes of molecules would behave in this manner? So he is clearly saying it is not decolorizing bromine water. So that means the compound given is a saturated compound because unsaturated compound will decolorize bromine water, right? And it is not reacting with sodium. So it is not reacting with sodium means phenol reacts with sodium, alcohols reacts with sodium. So it cannot be a phenol or alcohol. Okay. And when it comes to alkene, that reacts with bromine water to give us, or it will decolorize bromine water. Okay. So addition product will come with alkene. So that's why decolorization takes place. So that is why it cannot be alkene, alcohol, or phenol. So then what else is there? Ether is there. So ether reacts with sulfuric acid to give us a salt, and at the same time, it won't decolorize bromine water, or even it won't react with sodium also. So that is our answer. So option D once again, right? So option D is the answer. So the reason already I told you, right? So that is the third question. Now let us go to the next one. Right, next question. So the reaction of phenol chloroform in the presence of sodium hydroxide at 340 Kelvin, followed by acidification to form salicylaldehyde. So it is one of the important named reactions in organic chemistry. So maybe all of you knows about this. Reamer-Tiemann reaction to get that salicylaldehyde. Okay. If you do the same reaction with the carbon tetrachloride, salicylic acid also can come. That is also Reamer-Tiemann reaction, right? So this is Reamer-Tiemann reaction, we'll say. So it is option C. Right. So next question. So we have an alcohol C5H11OH. On dehydration, it is giving alkene, which on oxidation yields a mixture of ketone and an acid. What is that alcohol? Right. So let us start with option A then. So in option A, they have given CH3, CH3, and here we have CHOH, CH3. So if you do the dehydration, that means removal of water, minus H2O, right? So removal of water, when you do, what happens? There OH and hydrogen from here it will be lost, and that will be our major product, right? So I'll get a compound alkene like this. So here I get the double bond CH3. This is what I get, right? So this is the alkene. Right now, this alkene on oxidation. So when you do the oxidation for this alkene, the bond, double bond will break here, and this will convert into C double bond O, and this will convert into COOH because that hydrogen also can be replaced by hydroxyl group. Okay, so finally it will become CH3COOH, right? And that is carboxylic acid and ketone we are getting. So in the question is saying that same thing. We are getting a ketone and carboxylic acid. So it can be option A. Okay, let us check the other option, other compounds also. Then we'll give the final answer, right? So let us go with the B now. So in B, he said CH3 thrice, C, and here CH2OH. Okay. So now initially when you do the dehydration, minus H2O. So H plus ion, first it will attack here. So here I lose that. Okay. So here it will lose that OH and positive charge will come here, right? And after that, that positive charge can uh, move to the next carbon because here CH3 thrice we have. Okay. You can elaborate like this. So this is the carbocation you got it. Now after this, it will undergo 1 to methyl shift. Okay, so here 1 to methyl shift can happen. And after that 1 to methyl shift, what happens? This methyl group you can move this side onto this carbon you can add, and positive charge will shift to that carbon. So I'll get CH3 and here positive. Okay, so here CH2. So here already there was CH3 and one more CH3 is coming here. That CH3 is coming here. So this will become a this will convert into so CH3 C CH3 and here there will be a double bond because H plus and now it will be lost from here. So and this will come now. Okay. So that will be the other alkene we get there. Okay. So in the second compound also on oxidation now. So that means here I have to do the oxidation. So when you do the oxidation, so here C double bond O will be coming. Okay. And here it will become CH2O first and later further oxidation gives you carboxylic acid. So again in this case also it is coming but it will take a little longer time. Okay, because there will be 1 to hydride shift taking place and after formation of carbocation we are getting that 1 to hydride, 1 to methyl shift, then we are getting that alkene. Okay, so for getting this alkene it will take a longer time because 1 to methyl shift instantly it will happen, but after that H plus ion removal will take a little longer time. Okay, so that takes a longer time. So and again you are getting ketone and carboxylic acid as the products. Okay, after dehydration. So next third case. In third case also we'll check out. So in third case CH3, CH2, CHOH is there, and here CH2, CH3. So now OH from here, hydrogen from here you can remove. Anyways, it will be pent-2ene only will be coming. So here I get this compound now. So this on oxidation. Okay. So this on oxidation, it will give you 2 moles of carboxyl, 2 different carboxylic acid. One is this carboxylic acid and the other one acetic acid, propanoic acid and ethanoic acid, both will come. Okay. So similarly, if I take the fourth option also, so here OH group and here hydrogen will remove first. Okay. So again pent-2ene only. Pent-2ene means again 2 carboxylic acids are the products. Okay. So, but more easily you get that ketone and acid. Okay, mixture of ketone and acid will come from compound A. Okay, in compound B also we are getting, but it will take a little longer time. Okay, so that's why here option A will be more suitable answer. Okay, option B also correct only, but the most appropriate, if you say option A. So option A will be the best answer. So that's why I go for option A. So this is what comes here. So that already we have discussed, right? So that is the next question, question number 5. Next question. So here is the next question. So which of the following does not react with periodic acid? So what is this periodic acid? So periodic acid means it is HiO4. So this HiO4 will only oxidize vicinal diols. Okay, vicinal diols. That means 1,2 glycols, you can say 1,2 hydroxy compounds, right? And it will also react with alpha hydroxy, alpha hydroxy carbonyl compounds. That means in option B, this is a carbonyl compound, and we have alpha carbon here and here. So that alpha carbon having OH. So that's why alpha hydroxy carbonyl. So alpha hydroxy carbonyl compound plus 1,2 diols, both of them will undergo oxidation with periodic acid. So remaining compounds they don't react. Okay. So here in option A I have 1 comma 2 carbons with OH groups. So it will undergo oxidation. B also will undergo oxidation, and even in C also we will get oxidation. But in option D, this is isolated diol because this OH and this OH not in adjacent positions. Okay, they are at the ends of the carbon chain. So that's why it is called isolated diol. So when it comes to isolated diols, this periodic acid won't react. So that's why the answer is option D. Okay. So here what we have to remember is that periodic acid will only react with vicinal diols and alpha hydroxy carbonyl compounds. So with the remaining compounds, we don't get any reactions. Okay. So no oxidation reaction takes place with the HiO4 there with remaining alcohols. Right. So that is regarding this question. So option D is the answer. So now let us go to the next one. So here is the next question. So which of the following alcohols undergoes dehydration fast? So the rate of dehydration or the order of dehydration. If you see that order, tertiary alcohols dehydrate faster than secondary, and secondary alcohols dehydrate faster than primary. Okay, so that I think all of you know it, right? So when you say option A, here it is a primary alcohol, so it will react slow. And when it comes to B, it is a tertiary alcohol, so it might be faster. So next, it is a secondary alcohol, option C. And in option D also, it is a tertiary alcohol. So now I have two different tertiary alcohols. So among these two, which will react faster or which will dehydrate faster? That we have to check now. Okay. So first, in dehydration, so the first thing what happens is we'll get a carbocation. So if you are getting a stable intermediate, stable carbocation, then that reaction will go very fast. Okay. So which of them gives a more stable carbocation? That we'll see. Okay, that will give us the answer, right? So now if I take option B, so that from option B, if I take that, so hydrogen H plus ion will attack the OH and it will remove the water molecule. So here I get the positive charge. So here I get that. Okay. So this is a tertiary carbocation and it is having almost eight hyperconjugated structures, right? So next, when it comes to option D, also we'll check because both of them are tertiary. So option D also will check. So when it comes to option D, here methyl is there, and we get this carbocation. Now, if I check this one, so we'll get 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. So 7 hyperconjugated structures. So here 8 hyperconjugated structures because here I have 3 hydrogens, here 2. So 8 hyperconjugated structures. So that means this carbocation is more stable. Okay, when compared to the other one. So that's why it undergoes dehydration faster. So the answer will be option B. Okay, so the correct answer is option B now because that will give you a more stable carbocation in the dehydration process, right? So whenever you get a more stable intermediates, that reaction will be fast, right? So that is what we are saying here. So that is question number 7. Next question, question number 8. So here consider the following reactions. So they have given an alcohol here, so which is having a cyclobutyl ring there. So that is heated with some acid H plus. So we got a compound here. So dehydration generally it will happen there. So that dehydrated product we have to get, right? So let us see. So first H plus ion. So that will be attracted by OH. Why? Because OH contains lone pairs. So this H plus will attach to that OH. So their water molecule will remove. So after the removal of water molecule, now what you are getting? So here you get CH2 plus. So this is the carbocation, is it? Now this carbocation can undergo a ring expansion now because a four-membered ring is not stable. If you go for a five-membered ring, that will be more stable. So this will immediately expand to the five-membered ring. So I'll get a five-membered ring with a positive charge. Later, it loses the hydrogen from the adjacent carbon. From here or from here, we can remove it. So it will become cyclopentene. So I'll get a cyclopentene as the major product. So that cyclopentene is there in option C, right? So that will be our answer, right? So option C is the answer, and that is the mechanism. Here it is. Okay, the same mechanism which we discussed just now, right? So that is the question number 8. Next question, question number 9. So the main product of the reaction, ethyl bromide with silver cyanide. So silver cyanide is a covalent compound. It is not an ionic compound because it is a covalent compound in silver cyanide. The cyanide means C triple bond N. So nitrogen holds the electron density. So when it comes to silver cyanide, because it is covalent, now nitrogen will be the reaction center. Okay, the point of reaction here, right? Nitrogen will be the point of reaction. So that's why here nitrogen attaches to the carbon chain. Okay, so we'll get isocyanate, ethyl isocyanate will come. Okay, that will be the final compound. So that ethyl isocyanate is given in option B. So this is our answer, right? So answer is option B because silver cyanide is a covalent compound. Nitrogen will become the reaction center now. So that nitrogen will attach to the carbon chain to give us isocyanate like this. Okay. So that is question number 9. Next, question number 10. So this is the question number 10, and it is once again a very important named reaction we have. So this is benzene diazonium chloride we took, and that is that is reacting with cuprous halide, right, which is giving haloarine, halobenzene, and nitrogen gas. So a very important named reaction, so which is also known as Sand-Meyer's reaction, right? So we'll get Sand-Meyer's reaction here, so option B. So and once again, it is a important named reaction we have. Okay. So all the named reactions from organic chemistry are very important, right? So that is the 10 questions for today. So in the next session, we'll discuss some more 10 more questions. Okay, so likewise, every day I'll give you some 10 questions, 10 different models, 10 different questions from organic, inorganic, and physical. So, and this will continue till you write your NEET exam. So, I hope this will help you a lot in your preparations. So, please like, share, and subscribe the channel to get more updates.